Constitutional Court has dismissed the impeachment of Prime Minister Han Duck-soo. The ruling reinstates him as acting president, a role he took on after President Yoon Suk-yeol was suspended for declaring martial law. The court's decision was made in a 5-1 vote. Two justices opposed the impeachment motion entirely. Lawmakers had impeached Han in December, just weeks into his role as acting leader. The ruling marks another dramatic turn in South Korea's political crisis. With the decision, Han immediately resumes his duties. His reinstatement comes nearly 3 months after his impeachment. An Istanbul court has formally placed Istanbul Mayor Ekrem İmamoğlu under arrest in a corruption investigation. His lawyers say they will appeal the decision. The court rejected a separate request to arrest him in a terror probe, but upheld his detention over graft charges. His supporters have called the case politically motivated. İmamoğlu remained defiant. In a message shared by his lawyers, he said, "I won't be bowed," and vowed to keep fighting. His arrest has sparked Turkey's biggest unrest in over a decade. For 4 days, protesters have filled the streets of Istanbul and Ankara, leading to clashes with police. Meanwhile, 15 million people voted in a symbolic primary organised by the opposition CHP as a mass show of support for İmamoğlu, as he was expected to be named the party's candidate for the 2028 presidential race. İmamoğlu was detained just days before the vote, a move seen by observers as an attempt to block his political rise. With mass demonstrations continuing, tensions remain high across the country. A US strike has hit Yemen's capital Sanaa late on Sunday, killing at least 1 person and injuring 13 others. The strike targeted a building in the Asa neighborhood. Eyewitnesses say the victims were passers-by as the building was empty at the time. The blast reduced the structure to rubble. Shattered concrete, twisted metal, and personal belongings were strewn across the site. Emergency crews are still searching for survivors, while nearby residents try to salvage what they can. The US has provided little detail on the latest offensive in Yemen. The strikes come after the Houthis threatened to renew attacks on Red Sea shipping over the war in Gaza. Staying in the Middle East now, Lebanon says 1 person was killed in an Israeli drone strike in the south. The attack hit a car in Atita al-Shab, according to the health ministry. Other strikes were reported in areas near the border. This comes just a day after the most intense escalation since a November ceasefire. 7 people were killed on Saturday, including a Hezbollah official in Tyre. Israel says these strikes were a response to rocket fire. Hezbollah denies any involvement, calling Israel's claims an excuse for more attacks. Iran has condemned Israel's strikes, calling them an extensive military aggression. Tehran has warned that Israel remains a threat to international peace and security. Israel's cabinet has voted no confidence in Attorney General Gali Barav Miara, escalating tensions between the government and its critics. Justice Minister Lariv Lerin has called for her resignation, citing deep disagreements that hinder governance. However, her removal faces legal hurdles and could take months. The move follows last week's dismissal of Shin Bet chief Ronan Bar, sparking accusations that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government is undermining state institutions. Mass protests erupted in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv for a 6th consecutive day, uniting demonstrators angry over government actions and the handling of Israeli hostages still held in Gaza. Opposition leaders say Netanyahu's right-wing government is eroding democracy. Levin accused Barav Miara of politicizing her role, while Netanyahu defended Bar's removal, rejecting claims it aimed to obstruct a Shin Bet investigation. The Supreme Court has temporarily halted Bar's dismissal, adding to the growing unrest across Israel. Let's take a look at what one of the residents has to say. Well, that's all we have time for. We will continue to bring you more international news updates.